You've been told that anger is a sign of losing control. But the truth is, your problem was never about a lack of willpower. But what if every time you explode, you are actually protecting a deep part of yourself that you haven't named yet? In the next few minutes, we're going to uncover what lies beneath that rage, interrupt the automatic loop, and rebuild your internal leadership from the inside out. Think about that moment you get a misinterpreted text or a tiny piece of criticism. A heat rises in your chest. Your heart races. You snap back instantly. It all happens in a split second. You know this isn't who you want to be, yet it keeps happening. You're left with regret, feeling powerless because you can't seem to stop the cycle. Today, we aren't just talking about getting calm. We're going to uncover what's really happening beneath the surface, interrupt the neurological loop, and shift who is actually leading your life. If this resonates with you, you're exactly where you need to be. Because what's happening on the surface isn't the real story. If this feels familiar, I'd like to hear from you in the comments below. You're not overreacting. You're just protecting something you haven't named yet. Imagine this. You receive a tiny piece of feedback from a colleague or a casual comment from a family member. Suddenly, heat rises in your chest. You snap, you argue, or maybe you shut down in heavy, angry silence. People look at you and say you're angry, but the truth is not that simple. This anger isn't random. It's repetitive. It's like a pre-programmed instinct. Every time you react intensely, there is a territory inside being fiercely guarded. You aren't loyal to the anger. You are loyal to what that anger is protecting. It might be a desperate need to be respected. It could be the craving to be right. Or deeper still, it's a loyalty to a silent vow you made long ago. I will never let myself feel small again. Proverbs 4:23 says, "Above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it." But sometimes, we guard our hearts with walls of thorns instead of awareness. Anger isn't just an emotion. It's the outer shell of a self-protection mechanism. It's a reflex to shield your identity when you feel threatened. The reality is, anger is a loyal bodyguard, but a blind one. And if anger is protecting something, then the real question isn't about what happened, but what part of you just got exposed. That moment didn't create your reaction. It revealed it. Let's be honest. Anger doesn't create the problem. It simply exposes what was already there, hiding beneath the surface. When a small critique makes you feel disrespected, or a misunderstood text message triggers a massive blowout, it's not just about the present moment. It's the exposure of deep insecurities, past hurts, and those silent expectations you've never dared to speak out loud. The truth is, you aren't reacting to what is happening right now. You are reacting to an unprocessed memory. Luke 6:45 tells us, "For the mouth speaks what the heart is full of." Anger is the exposure mechanism of your subconscious. It isn't a moment where you lose control. On the contrary, it's the moment where what is hidden deepest inside you finally gets caught in the light. You are exposed by your fear of abandonment. You are exposed by the feeling of not being enough. Anger is nothing more than an honest mirror. So, if everything is being exposed, why do we keep reacting the same way every single time? You're not choosing your reaction. You're reinforcing a loop. Take a look at the last few times you got angry. Does it always follow the same path? A trigger happens. The emotion rises. You react. You feel regret. And then you repeat it all over again. Our brains are wired to prioritize the fastest response, not the best one. In reality, you aren't choosing how you react in that first second. You are simply following a neural pathway that has been carved deep into your mind over years. Every time you let that anger explode in the same old way, you aren't just reacting, you are strengthening that loop. James 1:19 gives us a powerful command. Everyone should be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to become angry. But we usually do the exact opposite. We are slow to listen, but incredibly fast to speak and react. This anger loop isn't just a personality trait. It's a combination of neurological habit and spiritual neglect. It turns you into a machine, responding to the world based on outdated programming. It happens every single time you feel powerless. But here's where everything can change. Wait. Here is a truth no one tells you. You don't need to fix your anger, and you don't need to punish yourself for exploding. The only thing you need to do is interrupt the loop. Change doesn't happen in how you feel. It happens in what you do with the space between the trigger and the reaction. But the question is, how do you interrupt something that feels automatic? Your power is not in control, it's in the pause. Don't try to suppress your emotions. Instead, create a gap. All you need are micro-interruptions to change the entire outcome. Try this. The moment anger hits, just pause. Name the feeling in your mind, and then delay your response. It only takes 5 seconds, but those 5 seconds can completely rewrite the end of a conversation. Proverbs 29:11 tells us, "A fool gives full vent to his spirit, but a wise man quietly holds it back." Self-control isn't about never feeling angry again. It's about the ability to delay your reaction. If you're typing a heated text, don't hit send yet. If you're in the middle of a sharp argument, just stay silent for a few seconds. A few seconds of silence is all it takes for your brain to switch from reflex to awareness. That pause is where your freedom begins. But even when you interrupt it, something deeper still needs to change. This is not about managing reactions. It's about who leads your life. Most people think their anger is a lack of discipline, but the truth is deeper. You are simply letting your impulses take the wheel. Real transformation doesn't come from trying to change your behavior. It comes from an internal leadership shift. Imagine the same stressful situation. One person explodes by instinct. Another walks through it with calm. The difference isn't a skill. It's about who is leading them from the inside. Galatians 5:22 and 23 speak of the fruit of the Spirit, and one of them is self-control. Self-control isn't a skill you master. It is the evidence of who is in charge of your heart. It is the result of letting the Spirit lead your mind instead of your temporary emotions. You don't have to manufacture peace. You just have to choose who you follow. You don't lack discipline. You lack leadership. And when that shift happens, everything you used to repeat starts to break. You might have thought your problem was a short temper or a lack of willpower. But the truth is, your anger was only a shield for the deeper loyalties and hurts hidden beneath. Freedom isn't about extinguishing the fire. It's about changing who holds the wheel of your soul. You are not stuck in this loop. If you've stayed through this, you are someone who is ready to stop looking at the surface and brave enough to face what's leading you from within. At this channel, we don't just fix habits. We allow God to reform who we are. In your next pause, what is the one thing you feel called to face instead of hide? If you are on this journey of internal transformation, we'd love to have you walk with us in the videos to come. Remember, in every single pause, you are never walking alone.